Okay, guys, I'd like to welcome you back to Talk Boom, and I'm your host, Cerebral. Today, what I want to talk about is no, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play a doctor on television or anything like that. I don't even know no doctory stuff to say. So basically, I'm just wearing this because it's a gimmick, okay? Just like the coronavirus, I believe is a gimmick. Now, don't get me wrong. People are dying. Don't think I'm not saying that. It's not something that's real, but I'm thinking what's going on with the United States government and governments around the world is they're taking advantage of a very bad situation. And I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I want to talk about what's going on with this whole pandemic. What's going on with the money? What's going on with the people? Why is everybody running around hiding from this? I mean, I do understand that we're in a world that people are afraid. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be afraid. That's not what I'm saying at all. But look, I need to point this to the smart people out there. And I'm sure we all have some doubt as to what's going on. I mean, a couple of days ago, people thought Donald Trump was crazy. I mean, nowadays they're thinking, well, maybe there's something a little bit different about what's going on here. I mean, did you know worldwide 123,000 people died this year of the flu? Hey, that's a lot of people dying from the flu. That's a lot of people. And this is not a joke. But I'm doing this just to prove a point. And the point is, what are we doing? I mean, let me get this straight. Now, and I live in Florida. So there's been an order passed that I'm supposed to stay in my home. Got that part. I'm supposed to stay in my home. So, my son, he has a couple of dogs, so the dogs needs to be walked. So if we need to walk the dog and we want to take him to the park, what happens? So, I'm walking down the street and I'm walking with Fluffy and he's barking and there's no one out there. And all of a sudden I hear this siren pull up and, just like anything else, we get kind of afraid when we see police officers coming out with batons and a badge and a battering ram. Okay, so I'm a little bit over-exaggerating. But nonetheless, when you see the boys in blue, it's kind of like a little scary thing. Lights are flashing. People are looking out their window because they don't want to come outside because you just got caught up in the mix. You just got caught walking your dog when you're supposed to be inside your house, minding your own business. Well, I'm not going to stay in the house. I'm going to take my dogs out for a walk because tomorrow night we're taking them hunting. Well, okay, that's all fine. And so the police walked up and goes, sir, did you know that you're not supposed to be walking your dogs right now? Did you know that there was a ban on you being outside? Did you know that? And I'm sitting up there trying to explain to the officer that I got these dogs, that they need to walk the dogs. So all of a sudden, from right there, bam! Upside my head, I'm on the ground doing a horizontal boogie, and I'm getting cuffed by this overgrown police officer who's had way too many experiences than donuts. Hoisted in the car, puppies thrown in the back of the paddy wagon, and I'm carted off to jail. Because of what? Because I walked my dog because it was a stay-at-home order. Help me figure this out. Now, in the whole Constitution thing, it says something about liberty, life, and justice. Now, where does it say in the Constitution, when it's not a wartime situation, that the government actually has the right to take away your business, to take away your rights, to make you stay in the house? Now, don't get me wrong. If this was something that we needed to do in order to save other people's lives, yeah, I can get it. I got that part. But it's not. I think the whole thing is people taking advantage of the American people's gentle heart. Nobody wants to see somebody die in America. I mean, there are people out there, but I'm talking about the average person. I mean, we have a heart. So why is it that we have to deal with this law that basically tells us we have to stay in our house? No. There's something wrong here. There's something wrong when some politician tells you that you have to stay in your house for a certain amount of time. I was talking to a lady from Canada, and very nice lady. And she says, I says to her, how are you guys making out with this whole coronavirus thing? And she says, it's okay. It's, we're doing what we have to do, and we're being quarantined and staying in the house. And she was so happy to tell me that she's staying in the house and everything is going good. And I said, so, in Canada, how many people are dying from the flu? She says, excuse me? And I said, well, how many people are dying from the flu? The flu happens every year. You get it. Oh, people get shots. Boom. Flu. Oh, I don't know, she says. I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? So, you know how many people are dying from the coronavirus, but you don't know how many people are dying from the flu. How do you even know that they're dying from the coronavirus? Yeah. This, to me, is turning out to be some big-ass cash grab. Big cash grab that people all over the world, politicians, have decided that they're going to get $2 trillion from the United States to invest in helping the American people. Now, can you think about a time that's ever been in the United States of America, United States of America, that the government has actually went out of their way to save us? I'm thinking it's just starting to sound like a little bit of that clock that's going on in Jeopardy. No, 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 no. Time's up. 0. Obama did decide at some point, when everything was going bad and the economy was tanking, to give everybody a check for $500 or $300. Some people got the check. Some people didn't get the check. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong. So, I could be wrong. They're telling us that we're going to get a $1,200 check. Now, I don't know if that's everyone in the United States is supposed to get a $1,200 check, but let me tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of confusion as to who gets the check. That's going to stop the checks from going out. And then it's going to be a lot of confusion that should people who are legally in the United States get the check, that's going to stop the checks. It's going to slow the checks down again. And at some point in time, they're going to open up businesses again. Now, when they open up the business, I'm not going to say that some people aren't going to get a check, but I can guarantee you this, $2 trillion of check giving ain't going to be handed out to the American people. I'm talking about $123.13. Maybe. I'm just making the number up, but you kind of get, I kind of go that way. But so, what's going to end up happening is businesses are going to open up. Some people are going to get a check. Some people who ought not get a check are going to get a check. And then all of a sudden, we're going to come to this realization. Well, good thing the business is open up. I can't wait to work. But when you go to work, guess what? Okay, you didn't get your check, but you're not going to be thinking about check anymore because you're going to be thinking about your business. You're going to be thinking about paying your bills. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier by the name of Eric. I said I wouldn't mention his name, but your name is Eric. He's got an A in the first initial of his last name. But I'm not saying his whole name. I'll tell you later. But he goes, if a man, because he's kind of like a Southern guy, we'll call him. If a man happens to start off with one car dealership, and then he has 2 car dealerships, then he has 4 car dealerships, and then he has 9 car dealerships. I know it's only 7, but it's funny. In 9 car dealerships, don't you think that man is entitled to some money from the United States government if he has a problem? Hell no, he's not entitled to any money. It's called risk versus reward. And here's just how it works. If you invest in the stock market, you only put the money in that you expect to lose. If you are going to start off with 2 dealerships and everything was profitable, you're doing so well, man, you hit the lottery. So you buy another dealership, and you buy another dealership, and you buy another dealership. Now you got 12 dealerships, 300 employees. And the bottom rocks out of this planet. You're broke as shit. You so poor you owe your own self 15 cents. But for some reason, the United States government is people. The people, it is no government, it's the United States people. the people of the United States government is supposed to bail your ass out because you took the risk to open up all these dealerships. Listen, I do not have a problem with stimulus money going to people who need it. I do have a problem, however, with stimulus money going to places like the Kennedy Center for the Arts. $25 million. I have a problem with that. I have a major problem with that. And I don't know how, listen, I don't know how crooked my calculator is, but I can pretty much guarantee you this. This calculator right here, I can pretty much guarantee you this. Doesn't matter how many numbers I put on this calculator. $1,200 times 180 million people don't come out to $2 trillion. I don't care what you do. Don't come out to $2 trillion. So let me get this straight. Because I'm a mathematical little genius, and I do say that if you give everybody in the Medicare $1,200, that would be just enough to get themselves together. They can buy themselves food, and then they can do whatever they want to do. That's the $1,200 that's going to happen. Now, my friend Eric seems to believe that everyone is entitled to that. I understand that. Now, the Democrats, or shall we say some people, believe that there are also people who are entitled to this money who don't belong in the United States. I think they call them illegals. Now, what does that mean? If you're legally here, you're not entitled to services because, you see, we have people in the United States that we need to be taking care of who are legally here and pay their taxes. So why are we giving money? And this is what they want. They want another stimulus package so we can take care of people who are illegally here. I don't know if there's 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. Doesn't matter. Roll the dice. But it doesn't matter how many people there is. What it does matter is, why are we giving this money to people who shouldn't be here? Illegal means you're not supposed to be here. Illegally here means you didn't come knocking on the front door. It means you hopped the gate. All right? You hopped over a gate, bro. Please don't think me unkind because I'm not. I'm just simply saying what a lot of people have on their mind. And these are the questions that we need to have answered. So instead of us sitting around twiddling our thumbs like we normally would do, we need to come up with some real damn answers. As I said before, there are people dying. People die every year of the flu. People die every year from smoking. People die every year from car accidents. People die every year from suicide, abortions, childhood diseases. Young people die. Old people die. Every year people die. I'm going to die eventually. You're going to die eventually. So, in the history of the United States of America, in the history of the world, there has never been a Santa Claus who showed up, whether it's the Spanish flu, the swine flu, the bird flu, with a check that had written on it your name for the amount of $1,200 signed by the United States government. We all want to hope that everything goes well, but yeah, I'm not thinking so good here. Maybe it's the way you think, Mr. Lucky. Maybe you should go see a doctor or something. Maybe you just think like you're crazy. No, I'm not thinking like I'm crazy. I'm thinking rational. I'm clear. My mind is clear. Maybe you have the coronavirus. Maybe I do have the coronavirus, but damn, I'm a former Marine. This is how we roll. This is how we get down. There are people going to die. I'm sorry for that. I'm going to die. And I'm sure my family's going to be sorry for that. On the other side, even wishing that we, Republicans, get this stuff. Who does that? Who wishes somebody to be ill? Like my friend said to me, he says, he thought I was basically saying that I don't think anyone should be getting any money. So he says to me, because I work out, because I look good, all this is from working out, you know. I got to do what I got to do over here. So he says to me, I tell you what, I'm doing this impersonation again. This is kind of funny. I tell you what, why don't you go in to the Crunch Fitness and kick it in and see how that works out for you? Why don't I go to Crunch Fitness, kick the door in, and see how that works out? These are the passions of a conversation of an idiot. Marty, you have to see what your kids are doing. So wishing ill on me was always the futile efforts of a moronic argument. And then he says, well, why don't you, if you got any of those hand sanitizers, I'm going to come over there and pick them up because you evidently don't need it. No, that's not what I said. This is kind of getting crazy. But nonetheless, all I'm simply saying is, look, we have to make some sense out of this. And again, I think it's a cash grab. I don't care what anyone says. That's what I believe. That's my personal opinion. That's not my wife's opinion. That's not my son's opinion. That's my opinion. I think we need to be looking at what's going on. And just because we have the coronavirus knocking at our door, that does not mean that crime is going to stop. It doesn't mean that people are not doing drugs anymore. It doesn't mean that people are not robbing and raping. All those things still go on, but we act like the whole world stood still because it's the coronavirus. Who even came up with that name, coronavirus? I'm thinking some guys up there in the boardroom and they're trying to figure out what to do, how to scare America. How can we get that money? How can we get that money? Chucky raises his hands and he says, I got an idea. What we need to do is we need to come up with something people are familiar with in the form of a virus name, and then we can take advantage of that. We'll do. As his boss says, well, do you have a name? Yeah, I got a name. Key-Roni. Because you see, everybody likes them Key-Roni commercials, and it just, once it gets out there and everybody starts calling it Key-Roni, the Key-Roni Corporation's probably going to have a see-through fit. Talk about the sales dropping down. But then, we just come back up with ourselves and call it the COVID-19 virus, or the Hunan virus. That's all we got to do. That was sold down the road. Now we got the coronavirus. Now it's the Condit ID virus, Condit, whatever you want to call it, 1938 put virus. Could have been called Heineken, but that wouldn't have done any good. And Coca-Cola Corporation didn't play that. You can't call it the Coke virus. Now, they said this came from a place called Hunan, China. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. It's here. But I'm trying to figure out how this works, because this has got to be the fastest spreading virus on the history. Excuse me. But it was burger time earlier. But in the history of viruses, think about it. Okay, so you know, somebody's walking around in Hunan, and all of a sudden there's a monkey, whatever they said, dinosaur, whatever they said, roaming around in the forest like Bigfoot, and all of a sudden, you know, some unfortunate soul hiker, you know, hiking up the mountains, backpacks and boots and everything, happens to run across this Bigfoot-looking character, and all of a sudden shakes his hand, and all of a sudden shakes his hand, and all this stuff comes off his hand. It's like a little powdery substances land on your hand, and it's on his hand, and he walks away, and his lips is all chapped, and his eyes are all freaked out. So you're freaked out. You go home and tell your wife about the experience about this Bigfoot you met, and then all of a sudden you you give her a hug and stuff start falling off her, and then all of a sudden you guys decide you're going to leave China because you're on vacation, and all of a sudden you get on the airplane, and then when you get on the airplane, they take off your luggage and all the stuff falls out of everybody's luggage because it's been spreading and spreading and spreading. It's almost like an episode of Star Trek. You remember those little cribbles or whatever the things are? But that's what it's like. So now you got it in New York, you got it in Chicago, you got it in California, you got it in Florida, you got it in New Jersey. Is there a place on the planet this is not going? Because, listen, if this is the truth, they need to get this shit. They need to find out exactly what this is, and they need to make it so that it's some type of a vaccine or something that gets spread around for people to get it so they can get better again. You know what? Why not, instead of giving people an order to stay home, is make a mask that everyone can wear? I mean, it's traveling up your nose and in your mouth, down your esophagus. It's a respiratory thing. You get me? That's what it is. So, instead of staying home, I say we should do this whole thing like the respiratory mask. Put it on your mouth. It's getting a little scary. But nonetheless, that is my opinion. I hope you understand it. But like I said, one death from anything is too many. And this is very serious for me. I may be joking around about it, but it's very serious. I'm just saying to you guys out there, we need to look at what's going on and we need to think. We need to think. We're the smartest creatures on the planet, on the whole planet. We need to think, not running and hiding. Running and hiding is not going to do anything. What do you think? You're going to run and hide, and then all of a sudden it's going to happen next year? So 2 years later, you didn't even get exposed to it. So now you're going to get exposed to a different strain that's going to not be called the coronavirus. No. We don't do the coronavirus again. Not twice. We don't do. This time we're going to do something else. We're going to do something called the Windows virus, because it's going to be all in your eyes and your windows. That's what we're going to call this one, Windows. Windows virus 2.3. But of course, you're going to get that, and then they're going to have to shut everybody's computers down, and airports are going to have to close down. It's going to be like one of those nuclear explosions that shut down all the electronics on the planet. Yeah. EMP. Yeah. Electromagnetic pulse virus. EMP virus. That's a good name. I'm good with names. But at any rate, so, guys, listen, stay safe out there. I'm going to close it like this. Listen, I want everybody to stay safe out there. Like I said, I'm taking this very seriously. I just want us to think about it. We need to get through this, and we need to get through this with a logical mind. We don't need to get through this with any crap and pandering, and we need to watch what our politicians are doing with the money. We need to watch the back door. So when all this is done, we need to be asking questions. Where did the money go? We need this. Because if we don't do this, we're going to regret it. And don't forget that once this is all done, you might get hit with another tax increase, because $2 trillion came from somewhere. And it's doing your part. It's the American flag. You got to pay your fair share. I'm Cerebro, and I'm out.